Okay, so first of all, thank you so much, Nayla, for joining me today, giving me a part of your time. I know how busy you are with everything happening in your life. So, بما أن it's only me and you today, I think you're more comfortable as you're not very...
No, I miss everybody joining. I was excited إن بكون في ال process and experiencing the live Instagram, but maybe some other time.
Inshallah,
again.
inshallah. To be honest, first of all, a lot of people actually facing this problem, Nayla, with Zoom, with UAE. I think there is a VPN and there is an update and all of that. So, inshallah, يعني, next time, hopefully.
Next time, let's be more prepared.
Inshallah.
I will say shukran, Hind, for inviting me on. Share my journey and my experience to the women and the community in the GCC, and I'm happy to be a part of your Instagram. And this is my first to see a blogger and how they operate, so it's all exciting and it's a learning process as well.
Thank you so much. It's social media is part of our life, and I decided to actually start it and continue to highlight those things, because we usually see part of it. So we either see like people in social media only, or people in their career, and we don't know their story. So what I've tried to actually feature our lives, which is totally different than maybe others. And I think this is very inspiring to everyone. And you are one of the very inspiring stories that I've been crossed for several years, to be honest. Before we start, Nayla, I would like you to introduce yourself. So I actually spoke about you a lot in the couple of days that I knew a bit about your story. So from the first and the youngest female aircraft controller in Dubai back in 1997, what happened? Who's Nayla, and why she decided to enter this field? Although I'm sure there was no woman in aviation general, and I don't think women at that time even thought about it or was thinking about aviation. So tell us, how did it all started?
So الجيرني مالي بديت في 59, about 1995. That's when I started. كنت fresh graduate من المدرسة. and بعدين I joined the aviation. أنا مو المرة الوحيدة هناك, but في operations and the tower and air traffic, yes, I was basically newly introduced gender. So I worked my way up. It was obviously a challenge. لين أدخل أكون assistant air traffic controller. إن بديت أول شيء من briefing, and then I worked my way up. But if you want, I'll share a little bit of my story of how I got there to start off with.
That's what we wanted. يعني أنا بدي أعرف أنت شلون فكرتي في هاي المجال؟ شلون let's be honest, يمكن even me in 2006 I didn't know about, for example, aircraft engineering, although it's very يعني noticed. How did you know about air traffic controller at that time?
أنا أصلاً كنت wide curious in how the air traffic department worked. And I used to hear the stories that my dad used to tell me when he used to work at the airport. He worked at the operations side for a while before he joined the army. And then originally I wanted to do law. I wanted to become a lawyer. Due to financial, lack of financial ability, then I said, okay, let me have a look at the aviation industry. Then I came across a very dark tower that we drive across constantly because our house we lived close by to the airport. So once upon a time, I just picked up the phone, called the air traffic department. I booked, and it was so easy to connect with the senior air traffic controller. He was called Brian Tarmer at that time. A circle, made an appointment, went to see him at a very small coffee shop. It was super casual, super easy. When I look back and think how it would be today if I had to make an appointment, it would probably not happen. And he was very surprised to not only see a female, but a female who couldn't speak English at a very advanced first language level. So he took my profile to the operations director. My profile was dismissed considering that there was lack of facilities for Burj. And it was predominantly dominated by the Shabab category. So I was very disappointed. He was very disappointed. And then he had suggestions. The only way you could try is maybe speak to him. So I spoke to my parents. My parents were also disappointed, but they had agreed. And let's go and speak to Mohammed Dahli, a very, very nice gentleman. At that time, he was there, and my parents went. And I remember the day very clearly. And لما أبوي دخل الغرفة ويا أمي بعد, there was other men in the room as well. And they said that I've come to bring my daughter. We applied, and we know that into رفض الapplication عشان because ما عندهم الفacilities والbreakout rooms. But I'm sure that my daughter, she will manage if you give her a chance and we support her. He was not supportive. He tried to discourage us, and this is not what he would want for his daughter. But eventually he had accepted. But I think my parents were very brave. He was very brave. إن أول شيء اتكلم قدام كل حد إن knowing إنه يمكن الأنسر بيكون negative. And that is an embarrassment.
Not only the negative, actually, at that point يمكن هاي اللي I would like to emphasize on وشدد عليه إن usually what I receive from females trying to enter aviation in different fields, that how do I convince my family to accept? So usually the family, اللي هو parents, they are the first obstacle for their daughters out of love and care, as it's a man-dominated field. So the first idea they would have, how do I leave my daughter in between all of this man? And this is, again, we are here to change that kind of mentality. This is the first obstacle a woman would face, is actually her family to start with. So I really, يعني, أكبر تحية for your parents back then at that days, that they would actually go and say, we want our daughter here because we believe in her and we trust her. Not only that, they were trying to to let them discourage them and they were still insisting on that. That's actually great. Allah يخليهم لك يا رب. I think that's really one of the most important maybe thing in Neila's life, is the support of your parents to start with.
Yes. So it was so that was I think a very tough hurdle to jump, and I needed support. But then on it was me and by myself, and trying to find a team of people that I could relate to, that could support me, can mentor me, coach me, and become an air traffic controller. And that was my mission.
لما دخلت, when you entered the field, how did they react? So okay, we got يعني احنا تجاوزنا العتبة او الحاجز الاول ان انت اصلا دخلتي المجال. الحين that doesn't mean that everyone around you, your colleagues, were accepting your existence between them. So did you face any of that?
في البداية it was very exciting for them and for me.
Okay.
Very welcoming, or of course we'll give you your separate area and all that, even though I didn't actually need a lot of attention. There was a lot of attention, a lot of media, a lot of visits. Everybody would be just curious to come and see. But and everybody felt, and I said people felt this is temporary. The limelight will come and the limelight will go. It will not sustain. So I joined in the briefing clerk where I did flight plans. Controllers come in, pilots come in, and depending on the destination, we create a flight plan. Then I also broadcast the weather and the squawks, and I work closely with the meteorology department on the weather as well. I was there for 2 months, learned my aviation phraseology, which usually people take quite a long time to learn, because obviously on the language strength. Then I was moved up to the tower very, very quickly. In the history of people moving up to the tower, I moved up really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Serco did support me very, very much. And because it's normal to have diversity and inclusion in the West and in Europe, Serco was actually managing that.
Amazing. So let's say because they didn't know what's going on, that actually helped a bit Nayla, because there was no much of let's say refusing that or not accepting the existence, because as you mentioned, they thought it's temporary. And I think this is one of the things that most women faced, not only in aviation, in any man-dominated field, that they would say that it's a temporary thing, and she either wouldn't be able to continue or...
And I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you clearly.
Now I can hear you. Sorry, it got table shوية.
Is it now okay?
Now, yes.
Okay. So what I was saying, that regarding a man-dominated field, usually usually the people... Now you can hear me, right, Nayla? Okay.
Yes.
So usually what people think, that it is a temporary thing, that you would not be able to continue. And I think that's one of the beliefs that about being a woman, that you are not capable enough. For me personally, people thought that, okay, I passed out my, let's say, education part of engineering because I'm a woman that loves studying. And then when I start training, they would say, okay, she would do this training and she will leave the field because it's too hard, and she would understand how hard it is. And when I've become an engineer, it was always like a feeling of awaiting. And every time I accomplished something, they would say, okay, now she will have enough. Now she's leaving. And that goes on your whole life, and as a career in a woman, every time you accomplish something, they would ask this. They would think that this is the end because you're there only to accomplish this. It's like they put a ceiling for you as a woman, and once you reach it, they think that's it.
Yeah. It's also important to recognize in the fields that we're in is not an easy field. Being an air traffic controller, being a pilot, being an aeronautical engineer, working in this type of operations is not a normal executive aviation job that you would have. It's hard enough, I think, challenging enough for the men who've been carrying it out for so many years. And we are breaking barriers in the tough jobs in the aviation and setting footprints. So that makes a difference.
I totally agree with you, Nayla, especially regarding the part that's not easy. And that's what I always emphasize for women when they come and ask me, would you recommend being an engineer on an aviation? I would just say, I would like to know what would you advise them. For me to is the answer. It's not about the label or the names or the career. It's about if you really love this, because even a male, even a man wouldn't be able to continue in such career if they don't really be passionate about it. It's not easy at all.
You see, in this industry, women should be committed, and they should be ambitious to see this to the end. Because once they jump into this deep end, the only way is to swim to shore. Because there is no way that you can say, okay, I can't take this anymore and come off, which is the case. A lot of women do that, and it impacts on the image of other women as well. Why is it said that way? Obviously, there's lots of women who have tried different fields and have stepped back because they can't do it, or they were not supported, or of the pressure that they had received above and beyond the male gender, perhaps. So women who want to do this, I encourage them to be focused, to be bold. To be bold and brave is really important. To be resilient is my other favorite, because you're gonna fall down, and every time you fall down, you're gonna be stronger. It's like, everybody who plays is Fortnite. You get a new skin apparently on these games, and you become stronger. So every time you fall down, you come back as Super Mario, and you become even stronger. And you need to be prepared. You need to accept these falls in knowing that you're going to be stronger when you get up. And as well as women, you have to also be grateful for getting these opportunities. Not only as women or men, we all have to be grateful. But women today having these opportunities, these are alerts, and it sends a warning sign to others that that we're sharper, we're more resilient, we multitask, and we can have it all.
I totally agree. So يمكن نيلة, you said, tell me the conclusion of your journey. At the start of me, I always emphasize on one point, that who supported me was actually man, who taught me was man, who trained me was man, who supported me even as my colleagues. So we're not let's say, we're not talking about everyone, but we're talking here and directing this kind of conversation to females, future leaders, young women that will enter maybe one of the man-dominated field. And that's one of the things until today, 2020, they would face. We will go back to Nayla. So in 1995, you entered the field of aviation. You took the step up until you've actually become the first and the youngest air traffic control female in UAE, I would say maybe in the Gulf also, in 1997. So how was it? So when you actually become an air traffic controller, how did that feel to you?
All I actually wanted to do is be live on the frequency. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay, so you had
all the glam, being the first female air traffic controller. Yeah, it's exciting being young. There's so many things. The attention, getting married at a very young age. Everything's just happening so fast. And all I wanted to do, and my success factor, was to be able to land, take off, and taxi safely. That was what made me a happy woman at the end of the day, and able to sleep at night. Yes, that is what I wanted to do. And every time I got to do that. And I also experienced one of the hijacks as well. I was on duty in one of the hijacks. So those are the things that will leave a mark in my life. And these are the stories I will take with me for many years to come.
You actually mentioned one of the success tips for any person, that you didn't do it for fame, for media, for, you know, being the first or the last, because it's really some one of the topics I really like also to emphasize always about it. It's not about who's the first, it's about how much did that field or that thing that you've done added to you as a person, and then what did you added to the thing that you've done. Maybe one of the main reasons, and that's again when people ask you as Nayla, or ask anyone in any field that is not very common to have women in it, why, what is your reasons? Why do you want this field? Why do you want to enter this field? I think the reasoning is very important. If it was fulfilling for you as a person, then that's a good reason. But if you're there to, you know, have any title or any like let's say just an appearance, then I don't think anyone can continue or be happy about what they're doing.
Yeah, I think as well, you know, in nature, I'm very competitive and driven. So the fact that I was discouraged, I was rejected, I was let down, and things were they were difficult for me. Made me more driven, made me more hungry. But these people who have disabled me, who presented as a hurdle in my life, or blockers, more than the people who were supporting me and them, because without them, knowingly or unknowingly not supporting me, made me much stronger. Hind, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still
Are you there? You frozen?
It's a bit frozen, but I'm still there and it's been recorded. Thank you for being very, very courage in all aspects of life. That actually you mentioned something very important. Some people feel ashamed or they don't mention it. Being to have that spirit of competing, it's really a good thing. And taking a no as actually a motivation for you, not to prove anyone wrong, is to prove yourself right. It's, I think, one of the keys also to succeed. And I think most of the women in a higher position, or that actually accomplish much in their life, they all have that in them as a person. And it's a good thing. That's what I wanted to mention. It's a good thing to compete, but it's bad when you want to compete to be better than anyone else.
Wrong. Yes.
You were competing just to prove that Nayla can do it. And that's amazing. So Nayla, you mentioned something about getting married in early age. So when you've actually become an air traffic controller, you already got married, or did that happen later on?
I got married in 1998, got my license in 97. So it all happened together. And my life took a reverse order, I feel. So I finished school. I went into air traffic. I became a controller. I got my degree. Then I got married. Then I started having a family. Then I decided that, you know, I'm still young. There's lots that I can achieve, and divesting or diverting my industry would not be a bad idea because of certain reasons. I'm okay to share as well. And why not? This is the right time. So then I moved out from the aviation industry after being an air traffic controller for 6 years in 2000.
Okay, so Okay, first of all, I would like to know the reasons, but before of that, again, another, let's say, barrier or courage being Nayla herself. Usually people, when they accomplish something and it takes a lot of energy and time from them, you wouldn't have the energy again to start all over. But for you, that was not a problem.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I don't know when for I don't know of people who have a problem who cannot start over again. I did have a problem because I was. This is my first job. This is my first love, and this is my premium first achievement. Detaching myself from the aviation world was very traumatic for me as an individual. It took almost 8 years to 10 years to recover from that.
Okay.
But then I knew that it is important to start again somewhere else, because I do have the ability and so much that I want to do and so much that I want to achieve, and I want to set examples for my family, and I want to have it all.
You want to have it all. I love this. I love this phrase. Oprah Winfrey always says, you can have it all, but not all at the same time. Do you agree on that?
No, I disagree. Absolutely. Just call Oprah next time and let's have a chat with her, because we can have it all, but sometimes maybe we can't have it all because we just don't have that vision, or maybe we don't want to have it all, which is also okay.
She says you can have it all, but you can't have it all in the same time. That's what's her phrase, just to make it clear. So I think let's go back to the decision that you made before that. So it's not only about starting over, Nayla. It's about all that, let's say, يعني of course when you've become يعني أول air traffic controller. It's a big thing at that time. وأنا أكيد يعني الحين خلينا شوي نتكلم عربي. كان أكيد عليك الصحافة، كان في مقابلات تلفزيونية، كان في أمور كثيرة إنه نيلة ومراقب جوي. يخلي الموضوع أصعب. يعني أنت ما كنتي إنسانة عادية في وظيفة عادية. لنفرض أن أنا مثلا طبيبة وقررت أن أطلع، يعني في وايد أطباء وقررت أطلع وأدش مثلا مجال اقتصاد أو عقار. أنت كنتي مثل للمرأة الإماراتية، كنتي يمكن حتى صورة. يعني أكيد أنا متأكدة أن أول ما صرتي اير ترافيك كنترولر كان في كثير مراقبة جوية في كثير من الصحف والمجلات وغيرها كانت. فهل لقيتي صعوبة في ذي الموضوع؟ وهل فكرتي إنه شنو الناس بتقول؟ What would they say؟ يعني did I give up؟ does this question came up to you؟
إيه، أنا كنت أخاف كل مرة إن أقدم ناس لو سألني شو صار، ليش طلعت؟ Because there are some things, I was not comfortable to share with them. But the truth is that I have been thinking of leaving air traffic on my 4th year when my daughter had turned 2. ليش؟ إن أشوف المستقبل is مو بواضح حقي أنا. Am I going to be doing this job for the next 10, 15 years? I can't see that. Do I want to have a bigger family? Can I have that? It's not possible with that being an air traffic controller. Personally, I will not be able to have a big family with the nature of the job. In the validation, revalidation, being shadowed by another controller when you're at 26 weeks pregnant, and moving forward also, would I be able to sustain home growing my career and moving radar as a radar controller? so all these things kept going in my mind. بعدين أقول منو بيوظف مراقب جوي? Who's going to give me a job? I mean, there is no jobs out there. Air traffic controller maybe can go back into work in the aviation world. صح. Hey, there was a lot of opportunities for the aviation world. But for me, being an air traffic controller was premium. Everything else was, you know, below premium. And it was an embarrassment. So it's better just to leave. Anyway, what actually concluded my decision to leave was an incident. I had an incident, a ground incident. It was Cat 2 conditions, and it was less than 10 meters visibilities, and I had an incident. I had to revalidate because of the incident. It took me a month to revalidate. But the trauma that I had to go through, the stress to revalidate was substantial. إن أنا كنت ما أبغى أحط نفسي في هالمرحلة مرة ثانية. خلاص. Over. It's time for me to move on. I sat down with my SATCO. I remember him because he was definitely one of the people who supported me. His name was Jim Sawyer at that time. And he had, and there was John Valencia as well. And they said that it's better that sometimes you burn your face, but you don't burn your hands because you need your hands. So that stayed with me, those words. And I had made a very tough decision to leave the industry of the love that I had was controlling aircrafts. I did control aircrafts in my dreams and in my thoughts for many, many, many years after that. But then I had moved on and achieved different things and progressed in my life because this is the plan I had set for myself.
MashaAllah. Nayla, with every step you're talking about in your story, actually there is a lesson or things that I keep maybe mentioning them, but you are a live example of all of ideas that I actually wanted every woman, every girl to actually hear it and to put it out there in her mind when once in a life she faces anything that's related that she can use. You said a very important thing, maybe it's you were driven, you were motivated, you loved to be an aircraft traffic controller, and it suits you at a certain time of life with your lifestyle. And it's okay in any point in life with everything changing around you to rethink the decisions you took in life and actually measure them if they are suitable for you now as Nayla today. And never think about, and another thing that they mention, you can burn your face, but don't burn your hands. People will keep talking no matter what you've done. You've done good, you've done bad, you've done nothing. They would actually talk, and really it does not really matter. All what matters is the person, how happy they are and how, sure of what they're doing. Taking the decision to leave, although you had you have an incident and it was Cat 2, but if Nayla didn't want to leave, that would not be a reason. So sometimes some little reasons happen, maybe not as big as an incident, but they actually give us an indication of something inside us to tell us that this is it for us. And another thing that I'm very happy that you shared, you've been measuring the thing that I want to have a big family. This doesn't suit me. So that measure also very important for any woman. And I always say that for anyone that enters an aviation, I say, sometimes you have to sacrifice and sometimes you have to, you know, think exactly what you want, but it doesn't stop you from actually trying the field. So and that's the major for me, يعني نيلة, this is one of the يعني things that I want everyone, even in aviation, even today I saw women destroying their life because they were very stiff and very resilient and sticking to something that it doesn't suit them now at their lifestyle. Do you get my point? I mean, and even for me as an aircraft engineer, when I was in the field, people was used to tell me that you will never get married with a job, or you will not continue, and all of that. To be honest, I had my own plan. I knew, as you said, I didn't see myself, let's say, being an aircraft engineer for 20 years, for example, with everything happening. So that's very, very, very important to actually emphasize on that, what suits you and where you are today. Leaving it behind is hard, and that's another thing. Thank you so much that you mentioned that you took several years to get over. Aviation is an addiction. I always say that it becomes part of you. But again, that didn't stop Nayla. So once you left, with everything, with all the memories and all the knowledge you have, what happened? How did you end up being the first retail site manager at Emirates National Oil Company? I'm sure there was a story in between. So how did you reach to that? And how did you actually enter an oil field, and you had an aviation background?
So I was aggressively applying everywhere. I quickly got a job at FedEx, but it was right on the opposite side of the building, on the tower, because we had all the cargo planes parked on the Delta base over there, and I had an office right opposite the runway. It was like, you know, I was working on that side of the runway, and now I'm working on this side of the runway. So I was there for 3 days. I remember exactly 3 days. And I left because it was just too much. I needed to step back even from the vicinity of aerodrome vicinity. So I struggled to find a job for the next 6 months, and then oil and gas, they thought that, you know, they shared that they have some vacancy for site manager. However, I don't think this is suitable for you. I'm like, why? Because there's no women, there's only men. I'm like, not again.
You're attracting those things to you. Okay.
So I remember the HR manager at that time was Abdurrabba. In fact, I think he was Bahraini originally, and Azal Sharhan, and they onboarded me after taking several approvals, and this was different. The oil and gas was different because I worked with predominantly men, yes, and not diverse. Like before, it was diversity. So you have people from France, South Africa, the UK, the US, Canada, and New Zealand and Australia. But over here, it's your compatriot brothers. And I must say that working in a male-dominated environment where it is your nationals was by far so much harder.
Okay. So كان أصعب إن تشتغلين مع نفس الجنسية أو العرب من إن تشتغلين مع الأجانب. مع إن الأجانب بعد كثير منهم خلينا نقول هو يعتمد على أي جنسية، بس في بعد أنواع من الجنسيات ما يتقبلون أو يعني المرأة، مو كل الجنسيات خلينا نقول إن هي it was easy.
Okay. لكن حق الأجانب هاي شيء عادي. إن في البلاد هم عندهم diversity و inclusion. هني 20 years ago ما في شيء مثل diversity, inclusion, women in workplace, women rights. نحن we are still new to the system. So I'm different. So it's a different kind of chemistry.
نيلة، أنا لاحظت في شيء واحد من الأشياء اللي واجهتها يمكن من خلينا نقول الرجال اللي من البحرينيين أو الخليجيين، إن بالرغم من إن كونك أنت مختلفة من كذي اخترتي مجال مختلف، لا يزالون يقارنونك مثلا أختهم، أمهم، زوجاتهم، يقارنونك بالنساء اللي يعرفونهم. ما يقدرون يستوعبون ان انت شلون، يعني مثلا لما بيعطيك شغل او بيشاركك في معلومه او شيء، هو اوريدي قاعد يعني في باله ان انت ما بتفهمين من الاساس، على اساس ان women's in their life they wouldn't understand, you know. So the thing is, what I'm facing until today maybe with some certain men in my career is actually comparing me with the women. They know that we might be really different, and minority of women that actually love to be, you know, beating. I believe that I love to beat myself a bit. I mean, always to be in this driven and always to be an accomplishment, you know, kind of life. I know I have a lot of friends, females and family members, they don't like it. They like to be relaxed. So we are not, again, we are type of a woman that we are considered as a minority of women that actually that have that drive. So the men in our career or around us cannot differentiate us and cannot understand that you could have the same mindset as they do. Do you agree on that, or did you face that?
I think back then that was the case. But I just feel like some of them are just so super mean, like any other woman would be as well. So I mean, it's just, you just come across some of these people. But I have to appreciate one thing about oil and gas. I have to appreciate that I had applied at a certain time. They took a very long time to get back to me. By the time they actually got back to me, about 5-6 months, with an offer, the process كله خلص, and then they were quiet and I follow up quiet. By the time they got back to me, I was pregnant. And then by the time I actually onboarded, so I was pregnant. So I called the operations director who actually interviewed me. I said, I just wanted to let you know that I'm going to do a medical test and I'm pregnant, and that's going to show in my results. But I promise you that this will not impact my employment. I used to be a controller once upon a time and worked in a very high pressured environment. And my pregnancy and my goal and ambition will not derail me. Because I know not only that you're hiring a female and breaking barriers, but now you even have hiring a pregnant female. So I just wanted to assure you, and I won't let you down. So I think Talib was taken back by that phone call. That's why I always remember him, and he's one of the very special people that I hold very dear to me. In 2 days, I got my offer. When I joined, I was nice and round, not very round, but nice and round. And I worked every single day, late hours, and I grew very large. And I felt very accomplished at that time, because I was able to pursue my goal in that state.
And you already had one kid, right? So that was the
Yes.
second. So that
Yes.
was, so you had a baby at home to take care of, pregnant and a new career, a totally different field, another let's say improving yourself all over again under all this pressure. Nayla, when you had that people that actually was against you or trying to bring you down, or those mean people, how did you handle them, and how did you handle your emotions at that time?
I was still learning my ropes because I was also fresh. I was new. This is my first time I'm working around so many UAE nationals as well. So it's all new to me. I can't say that, everybody was mean. I mean, you have a few of them here and there, but I just tended to just filter it out.
The support from your family, from your family, did it help? So at that time you were married and your husband was around you. What's his part was in that? I'm sure you was sharing, right? You were sharing some incidents that happened. So how did he?
Yes, I think the man behind my success would be my husband, because he was always there. He always supported me. He always pushed me. He always was there when I was down. He knew that if I had stayed at home or didn't keep myself active, that would not be good for my wellness. But I can't say that I've had a lot of female figures in my life that actually backed me up and raised me and helped me get to where I am today. They were mostly male figures. Mm-hmm. Despite that, we are driving our force and we are discouraged by the opposite gender. The male figures are the people who actually raised me and taught me. This is similar to yourself as well. Okay. And there were some male figures who were very, very interesting and challenging as well, who I thank very, very much. One of the special people that as well was one of them that made me very strong as an individual was Yusuf Sayyid, and he was also an Enoch at that time. A very tough operations director, but yet made me very tough as well.
True. Nayla, you are a bold diving force. You involved yourself in different heights in the past 20 years. You break a lot of barriers. But as any human being, there is points in life where you think you would give up. You just have to give up. You just have to rest, to sit back. Did you face those points in life that you just felt, you know what, I had enough. I think I need to just rest?
Yeah, I've had those times. Temporary rest. Okay. I switch off for a few days, but then I have to get back on the horse again. That's how
I mean a point where everything went, those days that everything goes wrong and you think, I need to give it up. I mean, I need to
quit,
to stop. Did you ever felt that?
To stop, to quit, like to leave the industry and just, focus primarily on at home? Is that what you mean? Mm-hmm. No, I'm not going to come across that.
You never crossed that. Okay, that's very interesting. That's really interesting. So you were going on and diving on until after 12 years of building material consulting. You have a lot of experiences, not only in the field and life. You met a lot of people. Coping with the family, was the reason of Al-Amal Consultant? How did that idea? So
yes, yeah. So you this is a very good question. Just after what you had asked me about giving up, so I'm very structured, and my life revolves under a plan, which my daughter really hates.
My husband hated too.
Yes, But the key to have it all is the plan.
Sure.
And therefore I've never felt the need to quit and just stay at home, because it's not in my plan. However, my plan did have things that accommodates me and my future and my family all the way up to when I turn 60 years old. So I have a plan all the way to 60 years.
Okay.
However, some plans come a little bit early, some plans come a little bit late, and Amal came much earlier than anticipated. My board positions came right on time, because I want to start working on nonprofit boards and international boards to work my way up after 5 to 8 years onto a financial market board. So you need to start now to be able to get there. It's a long journey. And then Emma came almost 10 years earlier, because my plan was to do my degree in psychology and counseling. I did my degree in psychology, master's degree in psychology and counseling, because I wanted to partner up and set up a nonprofit platform to support the community upon retirement, and partner with the Dubai courts and introduce initiatives to sustain marriage in the UAE. So therefore, the Amal idea came much earlier and was born in the pandemic time, when people actually really needed it. And then I said, I have time in my hands, why not? It doesn't have to be on that date. So Amal just was born in that form. I think maybe by the time 10 years, it's going to be mature. So that's all good.
That's not only good, that's amazing, Nayla. You make me speechless, because I would say it again and again and again. You're an example of a lot of things that I've tried and believed and tried to share, and things that I might not be yet there in my life to even speak about. So I always believe that I love to talk about things that I have my experience on. And there are a lot of things that you personally did experience and believed and planned for, that you already a living example of it. One of the main things about how to make it happen and how to have it all is the plan. Because you know نيلة، يمكن احنا في مجتمعاتنا في وايد ناس يقولون مثلا for example انه يعني خليها على الله، or يعني الله كاتب. You know the things that happen because of not planning right, they have an excuse for it. I believe that sometimes God's choices for us is better than what we choose for ourselves, but we cannot live without a plan and then say that this is how it should be or it have to be. I think that's one of the main reason, the main key reason of actually success and having it all. The great thing, which is for me is one of the biggest responsibility that I am personally starting worrying about even before it's happening. Managing all of that with, mashallah, Allah يحفظهم لك, 5 kids. يعني, you know, most people, when they start to have 2 kids or 3 kids, they would say, Yalla, I will give up. I want to be a housewife to take care of the kids because it's a full-time job. How did you be able to manage? So I know the plan and I know your career plan, and now I am very I'm very happy to know you even have your after retirement plan, which are great plans. How did the kids and raising them up and school and all of that been through with all you've been doing?
So I call my kids the Fantastic 5. You know about the Fantastic Four, so I call them the Fantastic 5. I think I was blessed to be able to have a big family because I started early. And I was able to again plan them across, every 4 to 5 years. And we always have a plan. We have a plan for what we want to be, where we want to go, how many years from now, how much do we want to earn. What is your family plan? We don't have our domestic plan. So I have both. I have a plan where this is what I want to do in the next 20 years professionally, and this is what I want, where I want to be 20 years domestically. Because if you don't, then they will clash. And if they clash, then one falls down. You'll have to drop a few balls. So it's really important that we have both plans to be able to kind of have that balance in life. And I guess that's my maybe my secret to being able to, having it all in that sense.
I will just add one thing. I think you agree with me, Nayla, is having the right partner next to you, because again, that wouldn't be possible if the partner was one of your obstacle instead of being one of your supports.
Nice. Yes. But yes, that is absolutely true. I have a lot of gratitude, and I'm blessed with a very good man in my life. That's him there.
That's you.
Yes.
يحفظكم ويخليكم حق بعض يا
Yeah.
رب.
So I guess there's a lot of sacrifices as well that you have to make as a woman, as an individual, and I guess it's how you carry them out, and how you work together in ensuring that those sacrifices do not impact you long term.
How did your kids now, as they are an adults, mashallah, your eldest is 20 years old. How do they see their mother? Because their mother is not an ordinary woman, and that's for sure. Anyone would know Nayla. I'm sure they see other parents or other mothers of their friends, family, women around them. They know their mother is an extraordinary woman and someone to look up to. So how do they actually, do you feel like achieving all of that in your life as a mother would affect your kids? So would that change their
Sometimes I do, yes. I have to admit that, yes. I think you need to do a separate talk show just with my two eldest ones. That will bring a different twist on kids of successful women and how their lives are. You see, I've set a very high bar for myself, and I expect no less from them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's, I pushed my kids, when I look at other kids and I look at my peers, I is constantly pushing them and making them do their best and be that their best they can be. And most importantly, I just want them to be good people, good citizens, respectful people. And I think that's the first career I want out of them. And this is what I want out of them. And they're very ambitious. They are accomplished. They have set their own goals in life. Shaheen's in Scotland currently. She flew back a few weeks ago in the pandemic to complete her MBBS. She's doing medicine in Aberdeen. And she's always wanted to become a doctor from the age of 9. She started working at the age of 12 at the community clinic, and she when she was 14, she went to India and she worked for 2 weeks in a state hospital, so that we ensure that this is what she wants to do moving forward. Maid is into business and hospitality as well. He's very patriotic and wants to serve his nation in any way and every way. And hospitality is something that he wants to target and help his country grow and become big and bigger. And I have the other three boys who are still in school and keeping me super, super busy and highly ambitious and all over the place and very, very demanding, in addition to their dad.
Okay. So I always, when anyone asks me now if you have any kids, I say yes, I have one, and I always mean my husband. So you don't actually have 6 now kids, Nayla. You have 7. So you have your 5 kids, your husband, and Al-Amal. I think it's your baby now.
My baby.
It was your little baby right now. So we can talk forever, Nayla. I mean, again, I would say that you're an example of a woman that mastered the life-work balance. And what I felt during our session today is not only that you are driven a person, you are a very comfortable person with yourself. And that's another thing I think a lot of women actually need to be, just noticing about themselves, because there is a big part of success. If you are not happy and comfortable with your own skin and with your own self, it does not really matter if you balance life or work, if you were successful in anything in life. Then if you don't have it between you and yourself, it's very difficult to be happy in anything in life. I personally have a lot of still question going on, but as we are almost 1 hour is completed, and you already shared your future plans, which I also find it very brave of you, because a lot of people would also usually say, let's wait and see, or what so on. If you would like to, if I would like you to give us 5 advices from all the experience and things you went in life, what would you advise women, new future leaders, with all the knowledge you have and experience?
I would encourage women to sometime to not be constantly ambitious and driven on the career side and forget their personal lives.
Totally agree. Okay, so that's one.
Because whether we like it or not, as women, this is what fulfills us. To be able to care and to nurture, and sometimes we are so driven and we become something that we don't plan to be, and not comfortable with ourselves, as you have put it. We forget to kind of tap into our instinct as women, because when we're home, you have to be a daughter, you have to be a mother, you have to be a wife, and you have to come out of that shell that you have created, that and which is required in order to be a driving force. So it's important that we come out of that, pajamas, and get into the home pajamas and jalabi, and we stay at home.
I put it, Nayla, always saying that once you are home, just remove all the hats you are wearing, regardless of what hats you're wearing out there. Strong woman, independent, driven, minister, manager, whatsoever. Once you are home, you remove all these hats and you just be the caring wife, mother. That's it. That's the normal situation you should
The
be in?
other thing that I will say, but I don't know if this will happen, I see very little of women supporting women. I see lots of men supporting other men. And it saddens me because, not because we want to be that way, it's because we're so driven. I think we'll run over a cat and all the animals on the road because we can't see. We just see this target and we are bulls, and that's what we want to do. But then we have to stop, and we have to be grateful, and we have to help each other. And this is really important because if we this is what we're here for as humanity, is to we step back and be grateful and support each other in any way we can. And we tend not to do this at our early age. We think about doing this in our retirement after 50, 60, okay, we give back now. Do it now, because you have these opportunities, and this will take you so far. This will take you so far. So this is my other takeaway. I feel that if I have an opportunity in helping anybody in any way, I will not take it. I will jump on it. It's just makes me feel good. So this is how I encourage the other women to be as well, and remain driven, remain bold, remain resilient. Do not back off, because if this is what you want and you're sure you want this, go get it. Go get it. And if you don't know how to get it, find somebody who can help you get it. Find a mentor, find a coach. There's so many coach platforms out there that can support you. You know, top of her game, Christina,
Yeah.
Leonise. Yeah, she's a fantastic.
By the
coach.
way, I found you through her page.
Okay, and she okay, and she's one of the well-known, trusted coaches and mentors I know, who's having a platform here in Dubai, and I've been working closely with the women around the GCC.
نيلة، أنا عندي عتب عليك. أنا عندي عتب. You have it all, but you don't have that appearance in media, and which is one of the, let's say, one of the most important now roles to help women to actually see an example like yourself. Why are you very, very minimum in social media general? Did you do it on purpose, or because you're so busy with other things that you just not have the time for it?
I'm not good at it.
You learn to be an air traffic controller. You enter a gas vial. That's a reason. I mean, that's just a reason.
You know, I was tucked away in the multinational world for 12 years. And that's where I actually grew from a lady to a professional woman. That is my executive platform in the multinational world. So I consider myself a corporate woman, coming from a very strong corporate multinational background. And in the multinational way, there is no time for social media. There's always competition, there's revenue, there's profit loss, there's divestment, there's liquidation, there's mergers. And I've been comfortably hiding in the multinational world, growing so many years. I know this is an area of development for myself. A lot of people have offered me, support at a cost, and making videos on me and promoting me, which they're right. But I believe that the budget that I have in hand at the moment, the priority goes to Amal, and not at my visibility.
I totally understand and respect your point of view, but from an experience, I would just give you, if you don't mind me telling you, giving you an advice, featuring you and being big out there as Nayla will grow everything else with you. So Al-Amal actually would grow with Nayla, because then Al-Amal will make sense to a lot of people when they knew who's behind Al-Amal and why. So if I saw it, I would just see it as another consultancy company, maybe non-profitable, that's great. But when I knew that Nayla is behind it, and when I know who's Nayla, that would make sense to me. So maybe you will consider that. I would love to see
I will
more.
definitely, and maybe you will consider being my social media mentor then.
I would be more than happy. Wallah, I would be more than happy, Nayla.
Thank you very much.
Always been it always drives me to be around women like yourself. You really inspire me, and I'm sure a lot of women that gonna see this video in future will be inspired by the story. I would just emphasize how the balance you've done on your life career, and really about how peaceful you are with yourself and the world. I think usually when I see a woman that peaceful with herself, I knew that she went through a lot to reach to a point in a very young age to be in that peace with everything around. So thank you, Nayla.
Shukran, Hind, and it's a pleasure. I would like to thank Mariam and this other person, I can't see the name, for joining in. I'm sorry it didn't work out on the live chat, but
Yeah.
I hope everybody's gonna see us later. Mariam wants to ask a question. Can we allow her?
Yes. I said sure, but I didn't receive the question.
Hi, Assalamu alaikum. This is Mariam Al-Belushi, Hind.
Hey, Mariam.
Hello, Mariam. Hello.
I was in the youth circus, then I joined when I saw it in the Zoom. So, Nayla, I'm honored to know you through Christina. I was not able to join Thursday Majlis, but it's really a very strange consequence. Yani, when I read about you, you swap your career from aviation to oil sector. It happened oppositely with me. I moved from the oil to the aviation sector.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think Hind was telling me something about somebody that she knew. I think it's you, is it?
Yes, she is. She is I told you about.
I'm not sure. So it's very, subhanallah, it's very, very weird that people swap their career, but it's always, I believe it always, one chain in each discipline will connect with others. So I will join my voice to Hind that people need to know such a good example, especially in Nayla. Today we are facing a lot of challenges in the work and life balance. Honestly, ladies, they think that if they want to be successful, achieving their goals, they need to sacrifice one, and mostly they sacrifice their family lives or their personal lives. So having you, mashallah, reach to this kind of peace soul, let's say, it's good to raise it, yani, and I do apologize, I didn't know about you before. I start questioning everyone around me in the ATC, in Dubai airports and Sheikh Zayed Center about you. So I started to dig.
So Mariam, so you're an air traffic controller?
No, I'm a chemical and petroleum engineer.
Okay.
I did my master environment science, aviation as a sub major. So it's different than. I learned aviation through practice. It's been 14 years working in the aviation. I worked with the ATC people, with the aerodrome people, with the operation, with the fuel producers. Every discipline in the aviation I worked with. So I encourage you, Nayla, to be part of yani, mentoring the new generation. Actually, it's not just transferring your story. It's also mentoring them how to reach to a balanced life. And this life doesn't need that you need to sacrifice one of them. You need to work on different passion, different streams, and be successful woman, yani.
Yes, I think that's a very, very important point, Mariam. I think and also an opportunity. If, as I was telling Hind, nobody, yes, it's my fault. I don't apologize. It's my fault that nobody knows about me, and everybody just suddenly started knowing about me when all my articles, my newspaper articles and magazine came out of a box a few weeks ago. And as Hind was saying, I need to do a better job in making myself visible on social media. And I count on her to help me with that. But I like the idea about mentoring other female Emiratis. There's a lot of potential there and a lot of good that we can do, because there are so many things that they do or should not do, and they can maybe do differently that will take them really far. And maybe let's connect offline, Mariam, and maybe we could kind of put something together and see what can we put together. Very simple, because nobody likes complicated things, and see how we can help the community back at a GCC level. I would like to do something like that for the region.
Thank you actually mentioning that. I would about to tell you, let's go bigger and go GCC.
Yeah, there you go.
Khaliji, I mean, I believe that Khaliji women's the same thing. The things that they're doing right or wrong are the same. We are all came from the same community almost, and I think yes. Let's make it bigger. I'm here from Bahrain, and we can join together.
Let's do that. Let's do that. You're the boss, Mariam.
Oh, this is a trouble. No, Nayla, I will be inshallah in contact with you offline, inshallah, on the personal level, to learn more from your experience and to have something and good initiative outcome of this Zoom discussion.
Absolutely. Connect me on Instagram. I would like to put my mobile number on a chat, but this is recorded, صح?
It's okay. Yes, I will share your number with her after your permission.
Okay, please do, to the ladies. Thank you so much.
Mariam, first of all, Mariam, thank you so much for being with us. We're sorry we couldn't be in live. That's we promised. We had a problem. Nayla faced the same problem that Mariam's facing with the VPN and the live. We're gonna have a session with Mariam actually this Saturday, inshallah. It would be the opposite story, how she moved from gas and oil to the aviation. I would conclude with, again, first of all, I'm so happy with what just happened. That's why I need you to be out there, Nayla. I encourage you to be out there more. Think about it for al-amal. If this is what you're focusing on, actually, al-amal will grow when people knew Nayla and what she actually and why. Because I would just emphasize on a lot of people trying to do a lot of things for a lot of reasons, not always the right reasons. So when we trust the person behind anything, we trust any initiative. So thank you, Nayla, so much. I really, really enjoyed our live today. I think I was lucky not to be in live session on Instagram, because that gives me more time with you one-on-one. It's like mentoring in a private. And if you would like to end up and conclude this with anything, I'm more than happy to hear you out.
Thank you again, Hind, for inviting me, and thank you for the audience, Mariam and the other lady on air as well on the Zoom. My takeaway from this is that I would need to kind of work on my social media presence, number one. I as well would, each meeting that I volunteer to be a part of is because I would like to give back to the community in any way I can. And thank you for giving me some time to talk about Amal and the initiative, which is my core and what is important for me. Nayla and her achievement, is important, but I feel like this is my priority right now. My return on investment on this time is to be able to leverage with whoever will see this video, and Mariam as well, and see how can we take things forward with you, Hind, and Mariam and others to set up something that we could empower women, encourage women of our community, and see how we can work together and collaborate and making things happen for them on their professional and their personal level.
Thank you so much, Nayla, again. And we will meet very soon. And I think this is the beginning of a great thing. I can see it, inshallah, in the very soon future. I mean, thank you again. And
شكرا.
شكرا. شكرا نيلة.
مشكورة. مع السلامة. مع السلامة.